Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report, your go-to source for all the week's gaming news, nerfed into one show once a week, so you can worry less about reading the news and get back to playing those video games. And on this week's episode, Blizzard may have leaked two of their top secret games before BlizzCon, WWE 2K20 glitches its way to stardom, Bethesda has introduced a brand new subscription service called Fallout First, and prepare for heartbreak because a ton of your favorite games are getting delayed. But before we get into any of that, this month has been insanely busy for us at the Nerf Report. And on top of all the new sketches, a local documentary crew decided to follow us around to showcase what life is like for a small YouTube company. And I'm really excited to share the first look of that docu-series with you right now. You know, this is going to be a big month for us here at the Nerf Report. We're about to hit our 120th episode, so people around the office are pretty excited about that. We are planning on filming Halloween sketches before every single episode, and that seems to be getting the office in the festive spirit, to say the least. And, we are for the first time ever hiring an intern, which has been going pretty interestingly. His name is Freddie. We hired him from Texas A&M, and he's a film student. In fact, his resume said he was an expert in film cutting, which apparently means editing. That is yet to be seen. Which, it's not that I don't like the guy. I think he's doing a good job. It's just there's something off about him. So, Freddie, you a sports fan? No? What about like Fortnite? He also plays his music abnormally loud, which it's kind of weird. I went to his laptop and I unplugged the speakers, and the music was still playing. Don't know how that happened. But then there's also the whole knives for fingers thing, which has honestly made things really difficult around the office. Yeah, Freddie, can you bring in this week's script so I can sign off on approval? Perfect. See you soon. Come in. Oh, thanks. So, Freddie, what is this? Yeah, he's a little weird. But honestly, I kind of like it. BlizzCon is next weekend, and despite all of the drama surrounding Blizzard right now, they still have some massive games that they plan on announcing during the convention. In fact, according to rumors, Blizzard is about to announce two new games during next week's convention. The first of which being a sequel to their massively popular first-person shooter game Overwatch. Now, very little is known about Overwatch 2 currently, but it is expected that the game will have a bigger focus on things like a story mode and PvE gameplay. And the second game that Blizzard is speculated to be announcing is Diablo 4. Now, this rumor is a little more credible than Overwatch 2, as a new book titled The Art of Diablo, which will be releasing the day after BlizzCon, is currently being advertised as featuring art from Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4. Blizzard has yet to comment on any of these leaks. However, BlizzCon will be taking place on November 1st through November 2nd, and we will have plenty to talk about during next week's episode. Next up, let's talk about some wrestling! This week, WWE 2K20 officially became the laughingstock of the video game industry, which is extremely impressive, considering how these last 12 months have actually been. But when your game is supposed to emulate this, and it ends up looking like this, you can understand why people are laughing at this game. Now, WWE 2K20's developer has responded to the in-game glitches by tweeting, "We are listening closely to the feedback that's been shared regarding WWE 2K20 and are aware of the concerns some players are reporting. We're working hard to investigate these concerns and address them as necessary. We expect to have an initial patch ready in the next 2 weeks, with others to follow. Stay tuned to WWE Games' social media channels for more information." And this may be the conspiracy lover in me, and prepare yourselves, get your aluminum foil hats ready, because I am convinced that 2K Games sent this game out to fail on purpose. For the past couple games, 2K failed to make the WWE games really go viral. And by releasing a game broken this badly, it now has everybody talking about their game. The game has officially gone viral, and tons of people who've never played a WWE game are now talking about it. Because let's face it, no developer in their right mind would release a game this broken on purpose. But unfortunately, these WWE 2K games have already been struggling to justify their existence. And when you pile a rocky launch with the original developer Yuke's leaving the franchise, this puts the WWE 2K series in the worst place possible. If you've watched this show before, you might remember us discussing live streamer Ninja signing an exclusive streaming contract with Mixer for $50 million. Well, this week in the world of streaming, we learned that lightning does strike twice, as fellow Twitch streamer Shroud has officially signed an exclusive streaming contract with Mixer. Following Ninja's departure from Twitch, Shroud represented one of the most popular streamers on Twitch. And while we don't know the exact dollar amount, Mixer is now home to two of the world's most popular streamers. And finally, for our top headlines, Fallout 76. Bethesda introduced a brand new service this week for Fallout fans, and allow me to introduce you to Fallout First, a new subscription service that allows access to private servers, unlimited storage in scrap boxes, secondary survival tents, monthly atoms, and exclusive skins, emotes, and armor. Fallout First is available right now for $12.99 a month or $100 a year. Now, this announcement was not received well, to say the least. In fact, one gamer discovered that Bethesda hadn't acquired the URL Fallout First yet, and he decided to create a website titled Fallout You First. OK Beast founder Blessing Adeo Jr. tweeted, "Fallout first of all, how dare you?" while industry analyst Neville posted a photo of Todd Howard whale hunting. And my response to all of this is, it's amazing how out of touch so many gamers are. So a game isn't for you. Cool. Quit dragging it through the mud. It's not like you don't have anything else to play. Go play one of the 15 games releasing every single week, and let the people who enjoy Fallout 76 enjoy it. Secondly, actually do some research. Services like Fallout First are nothing new to survival video games, or even video games in general. Developers have been charging subscription fees for private servers forever. For example, I used to play Ark Survival Evolved. I paid $29.99 initially for the game, and every time a new map launched, I would have to shell out an additional $20, sometimes even more. But if I wanted a private server, I could pay for one, or you had to buy an additional Xbox with Xbox Live and have it running 24 hours a day. That is nearly $300+ to play Ark Survival Evolved on my terms. And people are taking the bugs inside of Fallout 76 completely out of proportion. Like, all games have bugs. Going back to Ark Survival Evolved, They had a bug in one of their updates that literally wiped out everything. 200 plus hours of Ark gone forever. But no one ever talks about that. Probably because Ark wasn't developed by Bethesda. And punching up for Twitter likes is way more appealing. Well, that, of course, is going to wrap up this week's top headlines. So, without further ado, let's jump into this week's top story with the rundown.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
Nintendo legend Shigeru Miyamoto once said that a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. Now, keep that in mind, because a lot of the most highly anticipated games are getting delayed. So, first up, let's talk about the 9,000-pound elephant in the room. Not you, Rufus. Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog director Neil Druckmann posted a blog update on Last of Us Part 2 this week saying, "Let me cut to the chase and get the news out of the way. The Last of Us Part 2 has a new release date of May 29th, 2020. It was during the last few weeks, as we were closing out sections of the game, that we realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to a level of polish we would call Naughty Dog quality. At this point, we were faced with two options: compromise parts of the game or get more time. While we were relieved that we won't have to compromise our vision, we are disappointed that we weren't able to avoid this exact situation. We wish we could have foreseen the amount of polish we needed, but the size and scope of this game got the better of us. We hate disappointing our fans, and for that, we are sorry." Can we get a close-up real quick? Thank you. Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog, and PlayStation. I would really appreciate if you listen to me real quick. Take your time. No one understands the bar that the first Last of Us set better than you. And if you need time, please take it. In fact, if you want to wait until the PlayStation 5 launch in late 2020, I'm okay with that. Just make this game as perfect as possible. Now, Last of Us 2 isn't the only game that got delayed this week. In fact, developer and publisher Ubisoft announced during an investors call that upcoming games like God and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Watch Dogs Legion have been delayed until fiscal year 2020-2021. These delays come after Ubisoft saw poor performances from the last two games they launched, Ghost Recon Breakpoint and The Division 2. Now, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot told investors, "We have not capitalized on the potential of our latest two AAA releases. For Ghost Recon Breakpoint, while the game's quality appeared on track based on E3, Gamescom, previews, and our latest internal playtests, critical reception and sales during the game's first week were very disappointing. As we have done with past titles, we will continue to support the game and listen to the community in order to deliver the necessary improvements. In this overall context, we have decided to postpone the releases of God and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Watch Dogs Legion until 2020-2021. While each of these games already has a strong identity and high potential, we want our teams to have more development time to ensure that their respective innovations are perfectly implemented so as to deliver optimal experiences for players." Now, these 4 delays mark a massive year of delays by itself. In fact, there have been so many games delayed in 2019 that we thought it would be fitting to put together a little video package in memoriam. And finally, for this week, we come to That noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's gaming news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying! So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Thunder noise! And go! Sea of Thieves has a brand new in-game event going on called the Fort of the Damned. Xbox introduced a brand new wireless gaming clip for xCloud players. Speaking of Xbox, they gave away $1 billion to indie developers during this generation of console. Bethesda has officially bought Alpha Dog. Dying Light has an in-game crossover going on right now with Left 4 Dead, which once this show's over, I am jumping straight into that. Check out what it is. Ruby characters are coming to Smite. Google has established a brand new Canadian developer to develop games specifically for Google Stadia. Battlefield 5 has 2 new maps. Conan O'Brien is officially part of Death Stranding. Fortnite has introduced a brand new in-game golden fish trophy that when you throw it, it one-shots every single player. It's actually pretty cool. And finally for this week, Monster Hunter World Iceborne update will be coming to PC on January 9th. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerfed in 60 seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, hit that like button. While you're down there, subscribe to the channel, and please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappell. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. I just want to take a quick second and thank every single one of you that has supported us throughout the month of October. We've had a lot of fun stuff. We created a lot of shorts, and it's really re-energized me to produce this show even better in the upcoming months. So thank you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right there.